What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a new season of the Power Rankings, guys. We are so excited to be back recapping everything Survivor Michigan Wolverine Wars. I'm Paul, and I'm here with Joe.
Hi, everybody. We're back.
We are back, as are some of our favorite players from seasons past, back joining us again, and I could not be more excited.
Same here. I feel like all is right in the world again. Survivor Michigan is on our screens. We have some of our favorite players back. So excited about that. I can't wait to kind of dive in and kind of see where they all fall in our rankings here.
Things are so good. This entire cast, newbies and returners alike, I think are on screen. I feel really good about all of them so far. I feel like we've gotten a little slice of life from everybody. Like I'm getting a little bit of a pulse on everybody, thinking about who we like, who's emerging, who we're rooting for. I'm very, very high on this season so far.
Yeah, I am too, and I think they did a really good job. Like I think the episode was like right at an hour, and we were able to see kind of a little bit of everybody. You know, like we've seen on the on the TV show. I feel like sometimes they focus like a lot on the returners and maybe not as much on the newbies. But I feel like we got a really good window into a lot of people's games and who they're talking to, and a lot of big names and characters already that I can think of, and I think I know everyone's name just watching the episode once, so that's always a plus. They're doing a really good job. I think we have 4 really great returners back, but I think we're going to walk away from this season with multiple, what am I trying to say? More people that we're fans of. Just the 4
old favorites, new favorites, everybody. We are just happy everybody's here. It's shout out to the editing team for sure. Shout out to Ian. We love you. Just such an impressive job to put together something like this at all.
Right.
Especially to put it together where we really feel like we're getting a little bit of everybody. Even our first boot, we got, some insight with, some laughs with, some good stuff. So I didn't feel like we were left wanting. I don't feel like, outside of maybe 1 or 2 people, I feel like we got a sense of everybody. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I am too.
We are off to the races.
Yes. I've been wanting to say this since we started, but it's probably going to be said a couple times, but I want to say okie dokie, tokidoki.
That's good.
Every time Cooper said that, I was just dying. So I love that they named their tribe that. There needs to be like a tokidoki counter because it's just too funny.
It is fun to say, even if Ben hasn't learned their name yet,
right?
And he thinks it's Bongo Bongo. It's A-OK. So we are gonna hop right into these power rankings. Like we said, there is so much good content already this season, episode 1, that we decided to break it up for this first episode. And we're going to rank our new players and our returners separate. So we're going to give you kind of a top 5-ish, as usual, because it never really works out to 5. We're going to give you a top 5-ish of our new players who we've got our eye on, who we're liking, who we're impressed with. And then we're going to rank the 4 returners, which was tough this week because everybody came out guns blazing, especially these 4 returners, really off to the races, for better and for worse in some cases.
Yes, I definitely I would say it was tough for me for 3 of them of where to put them, but we'll get into why. We love them all, so I'll preface this by saying that, but
it is not a question of that ever with us, especially with these 4 returners. I am thrilled to see all 4 of these returners back.
Absolutely.
Love them, love their games. But let's start with the new players. Let's give them a little bit of a spotlight. So let's start at the bottom with number 5. Give me somebody you are keeping your eye on in that bottom number 5 spot for the newbies.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit of a wild card for me, but I feel like her smile will always be etched into my memory for the rest of my days. But I put Megan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
I don't know. I think she's really she seems like the sweetest, nicest person. I really loved the what was it? Her, Tom, and Jack, and like the car
Hmm.
alliances. We love to see the
The
car alliances.
minivan
Yeah, the
slash
yes.
South American
Yeah,
alliance.
I side note, I was very lost with what Tom was talking about. I personally was not the greatest at in history class. So if he was talking about something that's actually happened before, that went way over my head. But I definitely learned a lot.
I felt like I was pretty good at history and geography, and I was looking at the flags and figuring out what he was. Tom is cracking me up so
Yeah,
far.
absolutely.
I know Jack said that there will never be another Austin, and there
Oh
will
no.
never be another Austin.
No way.
Never. But I am loving this super fan like niche that I
Yes.
mean, and we can call it the Austin niche, like that super fan,
Oh, absolutely.
that college survivor super
Hmm.
fan that is we're just now starting to see on seasons that are airing, that
Right.
we're into Maryland, and now that Michigan 1 is going to be airing while this was filming.
Yeah, that was
So
crazy.
it's
I didn't realize that.
mm-hmm,
And we'll definitely talk about that when we get to um, ranking Matt
definitely.
in our returning list. But yeah, I didn't realize that. I was like, oh my gosh, none of them have seen. It's now been 4 seasons, and they've not seen a minute of uh, the show that they're playing, which is really really
I know.
cool.
Crazy.
So I can't. I hope we
But
hear bits and pieces about that
I
in
hope
this
we hear
season.
about the Alexes.
Yes,
I want to hear people talk about their love for the Alexes.
absolutely. But yeah, let's get back to
Back to
Megan.
Megan.
Yes. So yeah,
Yes.
I just think I forget if she said that she hadn't seen a lot of Survivor. Somebody. Oh no, I think I wrote because I wrote down Mallory vibes. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was actually for Kat on the other tribe, but or are they on the same tribe? I don't know. Anywho, Megan. Yeah, I feel like she. First of all, any but like aligning with Jack is, I think, a great
Yes.
idea. So, like I said, I loved that
Yes.
minivan 3, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like especially on that tribe is just like a hot mess in and of itself. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
she could be somebody who would kind of take a back seat to drama and take a back seat to like. I don't think she would be a big target anytime soon. Which is I'm not that's not a knock against her. I think it's actually a really good thing. So I think she can kind of like
Yes.
hide in the background a little bit and just be her smiley self and set herself up well for a long game. So I put her as number 5 on my list.
I love that. I did not have Megan in my top five. She was kind of hovering around that area, but I did take a note, and I want you to try this on for size.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Megan as like a Nicole Senti from
Ooh,
Survivor Maryland Outback and later All Stars?
that is an
Like
interesting
somebody,
comparison.
like just a genuinely nice
Mm-hmm.
person, who I think has found herself in a good position already, who I don't think is ever going to have like a big target on her back
Yep.
for any reason. I think that's a great spot for Megan.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
also found myself totally charmed by her, also, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her a ton.
I was like, I don't think I've ever seen someone smile this much, and it was just like making me
Yes.
smile. And I was like, okay,
I
it's
know.
working. Whatever she's doing, it's working.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. So in my five spot, I also went for a little bit of a wild card, because I think this is one of those things that's going to work out either great or terrible. But I am going to go with Camilla.
Ooh, yes,
I haven't decided yet whether she's going to be incredible or a disaster, but I think either way, she's definitely one to watch.
mm-hmm.
Because she's kind of like, she wants to play this flirting game really hard, but
Right.
she's on a tribe with two gay guys and a guy with a committed girlfriend,
I know.
which
How did
she,
casting mess that up?
oh, come on, guys, you gotta do. But also, like, it's like the two gay guys love her,
Right.
which, because of course they do, because she's like hilarious
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like this like flirty girl, and she has a necklace. Did you see this necklace with like charms with each letter of her name like as a choker?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love
And
that.
so it's like stop trying to play the Amanda and Parvati game and start playing the Corinne game and find yourself to some gays to align with, Camilla. And I think if she does that, I think she could be the glue to pull Ben and Nate back together.
Mm,
I think she has that power.
Yeah.
So either that or she's gonna absolutely crash and burn.
Right. Um,
Just absolutely disaster crash and burn. And either way, you know what? Put her on my screen.
yeah, so if I how are we doing this? If she's on my list as well, are we just waiting to get to where she is on my list? Is that how we're working this?
Ooh, where is she on your list?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but her charm worked on me. I have her as number one.
No,
Yeah.
you're kidding.
No.
Tell me, you have to tell me more about this.
I just think it's so funny.
Am I just giving a whole monologue about how she's super charming to the gays? And then I have,
it worked on me. It worked on me.
Worked.
She's number one on my list.
Damn it, Camilla, you got us.
Me. She got us.
Go tell me more.
I don't know. It's the Amanda Kimmel thing, which is really funny. I'm not a huge Amanda Kimmel fan. I'll have to throw that out there. But I was like, as soon as I saw her, I was like, if Amanda Kimmel and Parvati somehow had a daughter, like it would be Camilla. And I don't know. I think her corn conversation with Jack just had me dying. I just feel like, I don't know. I think she just has that energy of just kind of like, I feel like she's able to charm anybody. And I think what I was forgetting is that you can create cross-tribal alliances. So if she doesn't know that yet and learns that, I could see her going across and going to Jackson or Matt or whoever and forming relationships across tribes. So I think if she took enough of the flirtiness and the charm, but also it seems like she's going to be a game player too. So I feel like if she takes the correct amount of both of those things and puts it together, I think she'll be set up to go really, really far. And if I feel like anyone aligning themselves with Jack, I think is super smart. So I think if they have this like pair situation going, I think that sets her up well. So I put her as number one. And I will say, when I ranked the whole tribes, like she was number two on her entire tribe. So I'm putting it out there. Camilla's charm worked on me. She was number one on my list.
Wow. This one episode in, and we are already the hot takes department of Survivor Michigan. This is can't miss content, people. Alrighty. I am going to move to my number 4 since we've already crossed 2 off your list. See if you have this one on your list. I have Ivy in my number 4 spot.
Interesting. I don't have her in my top 5, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I love it.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I think anybody this early in the game who can get a Chiron that says knows everybody has to be in a pretty good spot. And again, I think she knows Nate. She knows Ben. I think Nate and Ivy really, I think, could be a thing because she was kind of sketch on Ben, which we'll get to that later, as I think everybody was. But I think Ivy is going to be one of those players who emerges. I think maybe starts slow, has relationships and stuff, but I'm keeping my eye on her. Every time she's on screen, I'm making a little note because I'm thinking she's going to emerge. I'm thinking she's a sleeper pick for sure.
Yeah, I had her sort of lower on my tribe list, but I think it was because 1 or 2 people were kind of saying that she was kind of on the outs, and I think I audibly said like no, because I was just like, wait a second. But then when the one confessional she had where she was like, I know Nate, I know Ben, I was like, okay, that could be good. And Nate seems like a game player, so I'm like, if they get together, I think that could. I think she did talk about doing that potentially. But anyway,
exactly.
So no, I love that she's on your list. I kind of put her lower just because a couple people had said that she might be on the outs, but I could definitely see her using those connections. I mean, the Ben and Nate dynamic is going to be really interesting this season.
Oh, yeah. There is some tea there that we have not had spilled yet I am hoping and praying is going to be spilling in the next couple weeks.
Right. So it will be interesting adding Ivy to that as a trio. But no, I love that she's on your list. I think you're right. I think with her connections, and I think if she plays it right, I think she is in a pretty good spot, kind of thinking about it, especially with the whole Shannon versus Kat situation, which I can't wait to see where that comes, what happens there. But yeah, no, I really like that she's on your list for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty, who is in your number 4 spot?
This one is interesting, but I put Jackson.
Oh, okay. Jackson was just outside my top 5.
Okay. Yeah, I had him kind of like in middle of the road on his tribe. I'll say right now, everybody else on my list is from Tokidoki, just
Mm-hmm.
because. Well, we saw El Norte like lose, and then like I said, I feel like their tribe is just everybody's kind of all over the place. But
Yes.
oh wait, Camilla's not Toki. Oh, I'm sorry, Camilla wasn't Tokidoki.
Camilla's on El
Yeah,
Norte
sorry
as
about
well,
that.
but yeah,
Wrong notes.
yeah,
But
no
yeah,
worries.
Jackson. I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting to see kind of where he goes. Like if he ran for the clue with Dale. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was an interesting
Mm-hmm.
choice. But I feel like they played it off well. Maybe his baby blue eyes got me. I don't know.
He was batting those baby blues all
He
over the place in
was,
episode
and
1.
that might be a little bit of my kryptonite, but we don't have to go there. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like he's in a good spot in his tribe, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see kind of where he goes with his strategy and who he kind of like links up with. I don't know. I kind of just had a feeling, so I just kind of went with it and threw him on number 4.
Yeah, I also like Jackson a lot. I just am trying to figure out where he's gonna fit
Mm-hmm.
in this Tokidoki dynamic.
Yes.
Like, where is he gonna have us? But I think if he finds a spot, if he can get in,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely think he is well set up to be in a good spot in this tribe for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think was he? I forget if he had a conversation with Matt or maybe it was Dale. I forget. But yeah, I'm interested to see where his game
Hmm.
goes. So that's kind of
Yeah,
why I put him on there. We'll go with
and he's
that.
out there looking for. He doesn't find the idol, but
I
he's out there
know.
looking for the
Yeah.
idol, which is a great sign. I think that he's
Right.
engaged. He's
He likes
playing.
nature. He was talking
So
to squirrels. We love to see
sure, you'll love to see it. Alrighty, in my number 3 spot, I actually put Shannon.
it. Interesting. Okay.
I think Shannon hating Kat is the thing that you take away from this episode about Shannon.
Yes.
But she has that meeting with Eliza where she's like, yeah, like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna call Dale and meet up with him. And then the very next scene, she's meeting up with
Right.
Dale. And I love that. I love that already she is being a little bit
Mm-hmm.
deceptive, being a little bit sneaky this early. I think the hating cat thing is not great, and especially the way it was edited was
It was very funny,
uh,
but
it was hilarious and such a great first episode
mm-hmm.
moment. But I think that's a smokescreen for the fact that Shannon is gonna be a good player.
Yeah.
I think I think she's gonna be physical. I think she's gonna be tough. I think she's gonna build relationships. I like Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon was really interesting. I like that she's on your list. I was worried at first because I'm like, oh, she's going to be super abrasive and like
Mm-hmm.
shitting on Kat for 5 hours or whatever. But no,
Yeah.
it was nice. It was almost like you were kind of seeing two sides of her, where it was,
Mm-hmm.
she was saying all that kinds of stuff, but then she's linking up with Eliza. I feel like Eliza is good at like not like well, I guess like picking out the bullshit or like judging someone's
Yes.
character. So I feel like if Shannon can
Mm-hmm.
sort of maybe mask that side of her and maybe, use the confessionals to get out your thoughts like that. But if she keeps it
Yeah.
dialed back, and works on building relationships with Eliza and Dale and other players, I think, I feel like she would be okay with throwing out Kat's name if they lose the next challenge. I would not be surprised by that at all. But I think if she does it in
Mm-hmm.
a way where it doesn't seem like she's trying to like run the tribe or anything like that, I think she could really go far. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love that she's on your list.
Yeah, I think being on a returning season is actually a great spot for
Mm-hmm.
her because in an all newbie season, you'd immediately be like, "Whoa, who is this
Yes.
big
Mm-hmm.
character that's doing all this?" But like the fact that like Ben is here and Jack is here and Matthew is here, it's like, "Oh, yeah, she is even if she was the biggest newbie character, she's still 4
Right.
overall as far as big
Hmm.
personalities, and I think that's the right spot for
Yeah,
her.
I agree. I love that she's on the list.
All right, who do you have in number
So
3?
I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, maybe these are just people that I wanted to talk about. But I put
Sure.
Dale.
All right, that is interesting because Dale is my number 1.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay.
Yes.
Now I don't feel. I have to just lean into my picks. I don't know why I'm so
Lean
self
in.
conscious of them, but
Yes.
I guess it's because it's been a while. But
It's
first
been
of
a
all,
while.
we love the older guys on the season.
We love the old guys.
So I immediately thought of oh my gosh, who was it last season? Will. Yes,
Will.
I immediately thought it was Will.
Dr.
Dr. Will.
Will.
I'm pretty sure. Did he say he was 26 or 28? Do you remember?
I think he said
Yeah. So
28.
he's closer to our age than
Yeah.
the contestants, which
Everybody else.
I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw a wedding ring. Did you pick that up?
I did not pick that up, but man, you were on it
Maybe I'm just
in this
used to
episode.
looking,
And
you know,
listen,
whatever.
apparently this season of the Power Rankings, we were going to get into the personal lives of the Power Ranking
Well,
guys.
because
So get ready.
yeah, I always
for that.
forget. I think it's on. I think it was on his left hand. Is that right? Is that where the wedding ring goes? I don't know.
We are on wedding ring. Yeah, it is on your left hand. We are on wedding ring watch for Dale next week.
Well, because it's also kind of jarring to see in like a college
Well, yeah.
thing, but with him being older, it kind of makes sense. I was hoping he would like mention it, and if he's not, hopefully, I mean, either way, it's fine. But
I was gonna say I went to a small Christian college, so it's not that jarring to see undergrad students with wedding rings, but that's a whole separate can of worms for a different podcast.
But yeah, so I like that dynamic. I think for us too, just like it's someone to kind of relate to more, if that makes sense. But like he also fits in with the college like lifestyle pretty well too. So I like that. I loved his chat with Shannon, sort of like the oldest and the youngest people getting together. I like that dynamic. He finds the idol, so that's great. And again, I feel like we didn't see. It could maybe come up in the next episode, but we didn't really see a lot of backlash from him and Jackson running for the clue. So I don't know if that was like pre-planned amongst their tribe or whatever. And if they mentioned that, I must have missed it. But I was kind of worried when I saw them both run up for that. But then I feel like they played it off pretty well. Side note, the whole thing about sending it to Tom and Tom sharing it with both, that was cringe. I don't know.
It was very
We have to
weird.
throw that out there because I was like, what is going on? And I think Ben kind of cultivated that because he told Tom, he was like, oh, if I ever got a clue, I would share it with the whole tribe. So I was like, okay, Ben's causing some chaos and like this really awkward moment where Tom starts trying to read it to everybody and then Jack has to stand up and block it. I thought that was really funny.
Gosh, so funny.
But anyway, yeah, I think Dale's in a good spot. I think maybe it was he and Matt that got together.
It was the Matt Alliance.
Oh
Matt
my gosh, how could I forget? Okay, yes. So yeah, I think aligning yourself with a returning player is very smart because they're always going to be a bigger target. And then he has an idol, so that's great. And I feel, and then the him and Shannon thing, as they said, were kind of, it's an unsuspecting duo. So I kind of like those types of alliances. So yeah, he's on my list for sure. I'm all about Dale.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of close to a perfect first episode for Dale. I think he wins the challenge. He finds an idol. He's in this duo with Matthew that I think is a perfect spot for him. He's talking to Shannon. He's shaving his face so he doesn't look so old.
That reminded me of Derek from Big Brother. I think he said his strategy was to kind of like look younger to fit in with the rest of the cast or whatever. So I immediately thought of that.
I think the fact that he's thinking that way, like that before the game even started, he's thinking, I don't want to look old. I want to fit in. I think bodes so well for him that, because, a lot of times, especially in Survivor Michigan, we've seen this a couple times where there's a lot of like players who take a little bit to acclimate to the game. And I think Dale is one of those guys who, like, from before moment one, day zero, was ready to play Survivor.
I agree.
I think at this point, episode 1, I couldn't be higher on Dale. Love it.
Perfect. Are we on number 2, right?
All right, number 2. In my number 2 spot, I had Adam.
Well, ding, ding, ding. We've hit our first
We
match.
finally did
It
it!
only took 4 spots, but we got it.
Yay!
That's so funny. Yeah. Perfect. We're on the
Yes.
same page there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Adam?
Totally feeling Adam so far. I think Adam in his confessionals, and then he's the one sitting with Kat, and they're kind of having that
Mm-hmm.
chat where he's like, "I watch more Survivor than you think." Side note: if you're signing up to play College Survivor, don't do the thing where you pretend you've only seen Survivor a
Yeah.
little bit.
Just lean into it.
Just just lean in because there has to be a reason you're signing up for
Mm-hmm.
this. And so if you're not like Mallory who wants to sign up for Survival Club,
Oh, Mallory.
it's always going to leave a hole in I know, love her, still referencing her. It's always going to leave a hole in your story. Like, how did you get here? So unless you're like friends with
Mm-hmm.
Bree or you want to sign up for Survival Club, just say, yeah, I like watching Survivor. It's nobody cares in
Yeah,
College Survivor anymore. It's
right.
not a
I
big
feel the
deal.
same way. It's kind of just either don't say anything, and then if it comes up in
Mm-hmm.
conversation, say that you've watched it. Like I can see downplaying it as far as like, oh yeah, I've seen it. But like, yeah, trying like pretending like you only saw one season, and oh, I think it was called Micronesia, and then it
Come
like,
on.
so
Come
yeah, I
on.
think just lean into being a fan of it. I don't think, like you said, I don't think that makes you a bigger target or anything. I think we're well beyond that type of thing of like, oh, you watch the
Yes.
show, oh my gosh, we need to get you out. So I think just lean into
Yes.
being a fan of it, and obviously the people who haven't seen it at all are going to announce that because they're going to be like, well, I don't know what I'm
Yes.
doing here, but
And then Shannon's going to get really mad
exactly.
about it. Super mad.
Exactly.
So maybe don't announce that
Right.
either now because I'm afraid of Shannon, just in general. But no, I think Adam's in a great spot. He's the thing that I liked about him is in that first of all, full disclosure, when they released the pregame biographies, I picked Adam pregame.
Nice.
I said I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna like him, so there's a little bit of that bias too. But I love when he's sitting with Kat and they just seem so relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, and they seem like they were just chatting. It's the thing we said about Dylan last season of like you just like to sit and
Mm-hmm.
talk with him. I think Adam has that from what we've seen so
Yeah,
far.
I agree. I think he's got the perfect mix of like um, being strategic, but also I think he's going to be a really good social player. So I think if he brings the right amount of both of those things, I could definitely see him
Mm-hmm.
going far. I think he's going to be a player, and it's going to be interesting too with like him being on the tribe with Matthew, because I can kind of
Yes.
see them sort of like jockeying for that position of like who's truly
Mm-hmm.
running the tribe. And there could be others
Mm-hmm.
that come into that too. But I see them kind of like similarly a little bit. So I'm excited to see, what he brings to the table.
Me too. And I think Adam being on that Matthew, Dale, and
Mm-hmm.
Jackson tribe, like with the strong dude bro energy, like that is gonna
Oh
blow
yeah.
up eventually. Like it's not gonna last long. It's gonna blow up eventually. And I think somebody like Adam can easily pick up people. He seems super friendly, super good in confessional, like him already
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And I am very big on Adam so far.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really excited to see what he does. I like his confessionals. He doesn't want to be a
Mm-hmm.
puppet. Love that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see too, like if him and Kat get really close and then they lose a challenge, and if Shannon kind of leads the charge to try to get Kat, I could
Mm-hmm.
see Adam trying to spin it and get the target on someone else. Like I could see him
Totally.
going to bat for Kat.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I'll be
nice.
here all week, people.
Thank you.
But I could see that, like if she becomes his closest ally within the next week, like I could totally see him trying to flip the game and make something else happen. So he would be the person to do that, I feel like, on this tribe. So I'm excited about that.
Agreed. Cool. Well, that is our top fives. Some very interesting stuff to watch, I think, for us in the next
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks to see. But yeah, and again, we didn't touch on we touched a little bit on
Mm-hmm.
Tom, who is gonna looks like he's gonna be in that Austin Pacey super fan spot. We didn't talk about Nate, who has his Twitter at, or is that his Instagram handle? One of them in
Oh
his
right.
Chiron, who seems super funny, and there's some backstory between him and Ben. Well, part of it is I don't know. You're not a theater
I'm
nerd, are
not.
you? See,
Okay.
I am, and so Ben being an actor. and Nate being a stage manager
Mm,
is very like my best friend is a
okay.
stage manager. So but we like defy all sorts of friendship expectations because usually like with the actor and the stage manager thing, there's a little bit of tension there. And then they have this mutual friend in
Mm-hmm.
Bree who
Yep.
we love. Shout
Yes.
out to Bree. I cannot wait to get to the bottom of the Ben and
Yeah,
Nate
I think
thing.
that's definitely a story just waiting to happen. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. And um yeah, who's gonna are we gonna see another
And
like
yeah,
war? Is it gonna be, like Ben versus Nate? Is this like the Ben war take two?
well, since we're talking about him already, let's jump into our returning player
Mm-hmm.
power rankings. I'm going to take a wild stab and ask who you have at number
This
4.
probably won't be a surprise. And again, Ben, we love you, but I have
We
Ben at
love
number
him.
4. I think he made a
Yes.
huge mistake. And
Oh, man.
honestly, I won't or yeah, I was gonna say I won't lie about this, but I wasn't gonna be shocked if he would have been the first boot. Like they did a great job.
I would have
Oh, I
been
would have been heartbroken too,
heartbroken,
but like the
but
editing was like starting to
yeah.
take it there, and I was just like, I was even trying to like, I'm sure I don't know, I assume everybody does this, but even like when people are writing the name down, I try to like figure out if they're doing
Oh,
a B
totally.
or an E or whatever.
Yes.
So I think after
Hmm.
like a couple people, I kind of noticed that they were like dotting the I of Aaron. So I was like, oh, I think he'll be fine. But I wouldn't have been terribly shocked if he went first. I'm glad that he didn't. But we have to
Hmm.
talk about him telling the story of the Ben bomb situation. I don't understand why you would ever talk about
I
that,
don't either.
especially if season 1 is just airing. These people aren't going to see his
Yes.
season for years. So I don't
No.
know.
And they're going to be so fixated on
Yes,
Matthew
which will
as the
right,
Godfather, as the
right.
Lion. Like, dude, just let it was.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's one of those things where it's just like the horses are in the starting gate
Mm-hmm.
at the race and they blow the gun and then one of the horses just falls right on its face
Yeah.
at the start. And I felt like that was Ben's week, but he
Right.
survives.
I think I kind of saw it.
So he's
Yeah, which
still
is
there.
great. I think I kind of saw it all. Like, obviously, he's coming off of his season. So I wonder if it was more of
Mm-hmm.
like a. Obviously, he's had to like sit with this whole situation for I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
guess it was only a couple months in between, right? Because it's just 2 semesters. So
Yeah,
maybe it was almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not like an apology, but maybe it was like weighing on his conscience. So he had to just like
like a
yes,
catharsis. Like he just had to
yeah.
get it out.
Now maybe
Mm-hmm.
there was a different group of people he could have talked about it with, but
Really, any other group of people would have
but
been better.
yeah. So I don't know. I think it's honestly a good like just for him and Jack being the two returners on that side, like great for Jack. Jack's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, well, there you go. Like, who are you gonna
Yeah,
trust between the two of
great for
us?
Jack.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where Ben's game goes from that, and like who's gonna trust someone who released all of his alliances, like chats to the whole cat. I don't know. There's a very interesting decision
I
there
don't
with
either.
Ben. I mean, we love the chaos, but I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how he digs himself out of that. I mean, obviously he got through the first vote, which is great.
Got through the first vote. It was
Mm-hmm.
7-1, so it's not even like somebody's throwing one
Right.
on him or there's like. So it's a good sign. Survive in advance. I think Ben. This was my first note that I wrote. Is I think Ben and Matthew are are going the opposite direction of each other's last seasons. Whereas Matthew had like the
Mm-hmm.
Maison people and like was doing that, and this time he's like, I'll stab anybody in the back. I think Ben is doing that thing where like he's back now and he's kind of like, okay, I need to trust people, like I need to do something different. And I think there's a part of Ben that's like, I don't want to be known as the released the
Right.
emails guy. Like I got that, and I'm trying to think of who I was comparing him to, but like sometimes these people come back on a later season and they're very like concerned about like, hey, I remember how people viewed me the first time, and like I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
viewed that way again. Because even Aaron is saying like, what do you have to do? Which was that end
Oh my
button
gosh,
at
that
the
was
end of the
perfect.
episode.
I'm
Oh
so
my
sad
god,
Erin's gone though. I feel like
so
she was
perfect.
such a good
I
character.
know.
This is going to be one of those seasons where like
I
every boot is just
know.
horrible. Um,
I agree. Totally
but the
agree. What
person
a
that I
great
just thought of
cast.
when you were talking about that is kind of like a Jerry Manthe returning in Heroes versus Villains and
Exactly.
kind of like, we
Mm-hmm.
know kind of everything that happened with like All Stars, and didn't she like storm out of the
Yeah.
reunion and stuff?
The
And I feel like she
reunion,
came back and like
yes.
I found myself being like, whoa, I think I was like rooting for Jerry. I was like, oh my gosh, like she's playing well. I think she could
Mm-hmm.
have actually done really well. I forget the reason that she got out, but I kind of see it like that, like the way that you were describing it. So yeah, maybe this was like
Yeah.
maybe Ben just had to like get the rest of this like negative situation out of his system, and
Mm-hmm.
he just kind of climbs his way to the top, and yeah, it kind of turns things around from like kind of what happened in his original season. I think that'd be a really cool story arc for
Yeah.
him.
Totally. I was thinking, I finally realized who I was thinking of, but it was Ben de la Creme from Drag Race All Stars 3, which I know you're not a Drag Race person, which we'll fix at some
I've seen a
point. Don't
couple
worry.
episodes, I will say that.
But it's like that thing where like you don't want to come off as the villain, but I'm like Ben, and it's funny that they're both named Ben, but that's a whole separate thing. But I'm thinking I'm on board with you. I'm thinking it was one episode, shake it off, you got it
Hmm.
out of your system. Now let's
Right,
play
right.
Survivor. And we know Ben's as good as
Oh,
anybody
for sure.
strategically with the politics,
Hmm.
with relationships. Ben's as good as anybody. He really can make a run here. Um, he's just got to just get back
Right.
up and let's do it.
Totally agree.
All right, who's in your number 3 spot
I
for the
put the one
returners?
and only Lion, Matthew.
I did as well.
Now, on my tribe, when I did it by tribe, he was like number 3, I think. What I
Mm-hmm.
think probably knocked him down a spot was the fact that his season is going to be airing,
Yeah, that's
because
so tough.
everyone's going to be watching, and I
Mm-hmm.
think like if you took his confessionals out of it, he would be fine.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not going to happen. So I think if he's not already letting people know how strategic he is, like his season coming out is going to be very eye-opening for people if they've not picked up on that. So I think I had to kind of put him lower on the list than I would have wanted to for
Mm-hmm.
that reason. Like I don't think he's like, I think everything that he was doing in this episode was great. I think
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately that's going to be something that's going to play into his game, is like he's going to be the only person who people are going to get to watch this season. And I think if people are like, oh, like especially like Adam, if Adam sees how strategic Matt is,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, wait a second, like this guy's got a lot more going on than he might be letting us know. So I hope it doesn't hurt Matt, but I had to kind of put him in 3 spot for that.
I did the exact same thing. It's going to be a challenge that we've really never seen on College Survivor, where all these new players are going to be, because like when during Maryland All Stars, everybody was familiar with what happened on
Mm-hmm.
everybody else's season. Like this is the kind of situation where they're going to see him in confessional, and it's going to go one of two ways. When we watched Michigan 1, we
Yes.
loved Matthew, loved him. And I think what might help him is if this is their takeaway, he
Mm-hmm.
was loyal to those guys in season 1. He wanted to work with them. He ends up going home in that crazy
Yeah.
multi-idol play. Um, and so that's where I put him in 3 for the same reason you did, but I'm like, is that going to help him? Is that going to hurt him? I don't know that I'm sold that it's going to hurt
Yeah.
him yet. I think he can
Yes.
spin it.
I was literally thinking the same thing. That was going to be my next point, was that if he was loyal to the Maison 5, So I think he can,
Mm-hmm.
if he, you know, if people ask him about his season or whatever, and that's what he focuses on, he can be like, listen, I was loyal to that group, like to the end. I think that's a good thing. I think, maybe if he kind of plays off the strategy talk as like kind of putting that on a little bit as like a character, I think that
Yeah.
could help him too. If he's, so yeah, I don't want that his season is coming out now to hurt him. So it'll be interesting to
Mm-hmm.
see how or if that plays a factor in his game moving forward.
I agree. I'm
Me
excited to
too.
find out. Alrighty,
I
number
put
two.
the one and only Jack.
I did as well. We did it. Yay, 4 for 4.
um,
Jack
yes,
is
love it.
back.
So happy about that. Um, I think now he was number one on the my El Norte rankings. I
Mm-hmm.
think, again, like him versus Ben with Ben and his whole situation, I think that puts Jack
Mm-hmm.
in a really good spot. And I feel like, again, if you're looking at two returners and, with the Ben bomb, being out in the open, like I feel like my focus, if I was on that tribe, would move towards Jack and be like, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
didn't, do this type of thing. And I feel like he's just like super likable, super trustworthy. He was meeting up with a ton of people, talking corn with
Yes.
Camilla. So yeah, I think he's in a really good spot. I feel like I said earlier, like the El Norte tribe's a little bit of a hot mess, but I think he's the perfect person to kind of like, um, stay the course, and he understands what needs to
Mm-hmm.
happen to make it really far. And I think he's the perfect, like other returner to be on that tribe to do that. So I think he's in a really good spot.
I do too. I think he sort of is giving me like blood versus water
Mm.
Tyson
Oh, I like
vibes
that.
of like the hey, like I'm in good relationships with everybody, like with the newbies, like I'll help you out, like we're cool, like blah blah blah. But with the returners, like oh yeah, like when he's meeting with Eliza, it's like yeah, it's us, you and me, we're the like normal returners, and Matthew and Ben, like they're so like
Mm-hmm.
crazy characters. But like when it's the four of them, Jack's like yeah, it's I am happy Jack's back, and I am happy Jack is back
Mm-hmm.
in his wheelhouse. My concern is, can he lay low
Right.
forever? And I just, and the reason that I put him number two instead of number one is my concern of like, at what point, because Jag is coming in saying like, last time I was mean, this time I'm meaner, the Sandra Diaz Twine thing. And I just want to be like, no, last time you were nice. This
Well,
time be
I
even
was just gonna ask
nicer.
that.
Like,
Like, was he
go
ever
the other
mean?
way.
I don't remember that, so I don't know
No.
what he's thinking about or talking about. But
I remember
yeah,
everyone loving Jack. And so that's like my concern is I'm like, don't learn the wrong lesson
right.
from your first season. Like, be the nice, fun Jack that everybody, like, that
Mm-hmm.
we fell in love with watching season two. That Jack, that Jack has Tyson in Blood versus Water, Jeremy Collins in Cambodia
Right.
upside. Don't be JT in Game
Oh
Changers and
gosh,
Heroes
no.
versus Villains, Jack. Like, don't go that direction with your arc. Like, lean into what we loved
Right. I mean,
about
if he
you the
wants to be
first time.
meaner in his confessionals, fine. Which again, I don't
Yeah,
remember
fine,
him
whatever.
being mean at all in his last season.
Me either. And I think we're going to have a surplus of
Right,
that this
right.
season anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm not that
And again,
concerned.
he could have that maybe was like his first confessional and he was just he was excited or whatever. But
Work in the
right.
Sandra
But no,
quote, of
yeah,
course.
I think that's a really good point. I think yeah, don't he's a likable guy. He's, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people want to, talk with him and work with him. And, we're not going to get,
Mm-hmm.
the Jack, Sam, and Sarah trio, but we
Mm-hmm.
can get this Jack, Megan, Tom trio, which is very intriguing, very different.
Sure.
So I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Let's see, you know,
And I think the thing I like about that trio is that Jack is the Sarah of that
Ooh, I
trio.
like that.
Are you
Yes.
following me? I think that like in that trio, I think that Jack is going to be the one that has more of the outlier
Mm-hmm.
relationships with everybody, that is a little bit more in that driver's seat position that we saw Sarah in, that took her so deep in season 2. So I think that that's, if he can lean into that and not try and be anything else, I think
Yeah.
that's a great spot for him. But that remains to be seen. So
Right.
there's
And
still
that's
a
a
little
good point too,
question
because I
mark
could
there.
see Megan and Tom sort of like latching onto Jack and then just sticking with that. Where Jack knows
Totally.
you need to have more connections than that. So I think that's a really good point. He's in the driver's seat, even though he
Yeah,
was in the passenger seat, but I think he's in the driver's seat of the minivan and
exactly. In
Alliance.
the passenger seat, in the passenger seat, in the driver's seat. Got it. And that takes us to our number one, Eliza, who I am saying right now, planting my flag. I am not going to call her Eliza all season. I am only going to call her Eliza
Yeah.
because that is her name.
I, didn't get tired of putting her at the top of my list in her last season. So
Nope.
naturally, as pen went to paper, I just started writing an A, and I was like, okay, well, it's muscle memory at this point that Eliza's at the top of
Yep.
the list. But I love that she's back. I think like she had a good season. We talked about it in our
Mm-hmm.
power rankings last season of just how dramatic and crazy the last season was, and she was able to kind of steer clear of all that. So I think she's coming into this season. She doesn't have like a lot of baggage or
Yep.
any things that she needs to confess to her whole tribe about. So I think
Oh
she's
my
in a
gosh,
really
no.
good spot. I think coming off of a season like that and only having a couple months or however it's been, I think she's in a really
Mm-hmm.
good spot to do well. And again, she's just so naturally social and like you just want to work with her. So I think, and that was proven tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She's met with multiple people in this first episode. So, yeah, I think, yeah, she's probably going to be at the top of my list for a really long time, unless she makes a huge blunder, which I just don't see happening from her. Knock on wood. But yeah, I'm so excited she's
Yeah, no
back. I
kidding.
think she can definitely go very deep in this game.
I totally agree. I think it's the opposite of what we were just saying of Aliza is back in the game and she is getting
Mm-hmm.
right back to what she's good at. Like there's no, she's not trying to be fancier, she's not trying to do anything different, she's not trying to rehab her image, she's not dealing with any of the other stuff that any of the other three returners are doing. Aliza is back and she is already
Mm-hmm.
back to the Aliza game. She is already back to building relationships, being social, being friendly, being fun, like right back into it. And there's like, this is
Yeah.
so good for her. This is a great spot for her. She didn't really make any
Right.
blunders last season, so we don't. That's the thing about Eliza is like, how can you not put her at the top? She is like the Gonzaga of Survivor players because like people may say, oh, maybe she's not good at this, maybe she's not good at this, but until she
Right.
stumbles, until she makes a mistake, I'm going to keep
Mm-hmm.
putting her at the top because she has never shown us anything besides really
Yeah,
excellent
I agree.
gameplay.
And I think she's on a strong tribe too, just like challenge wise. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
see them
Yes.
losing a ton. You know, shout out to Savu Savu and that whole experience. But
Oh man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the tribe that she's on is good for her. I think she'll be able to connect with a lot of different people. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see like where her game goes and who become, does she form a new 4-person alliance with, some other people on her tribe? Like, we love to see the throwbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And I think, again, with Matt's season coming out, and again, it depends on what happens with that. But I think Eliza will have that upper hand of like, she can say whatever she wants about how her season went and how she played. And
Yeah.
again, I feel like there's like such a genuine quality to her anyway that like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I think that really helps her, and I think people will be drawn to that. And um, yeah, I think I'm excited to see what happens. Honestly,
Yeah. I totally am too. I think she's in a great spot. I think having the dude bros in
Hmm.
Matthew Dale and Jackson, and then having the sort of Kat Shannon
Right.
conflict or whatever that's there. I think Aliza is smooth sailing, ready to go. And we've seen, like, if she makes it to the merge, she
Right.
can pick up a whole new set of friends and be good in that situation. And yeah, I am excited to see her go again because I think we have only
Hmm.
seen the
I
beginnings of
totally
what she's
agree.
capable of. Alrighty, well, that is our power rankings for episode 1. We are so excited to be back to this. We are so excited to have another season of
Hmm.
Survivor Michigan to talk about. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for making it this far. And we will be back next week to see how well or poorly our rankings have fared, to see if we have aged well or aged poorly. And yeah, thanks for being here.
Bye,
Join us next
everyone.
time. Have a great week, everybody.